Welcome to our interview series on research taking place at Jacobs University. Please introduce yourself.
First of all, thank you very much for having me. My name is Tilo Halaszovich. I am Professor of Global Markets and Firms at Jacobs University now since almost 5 years now. I'm the chair of the International Business Administration Study Program and try to promote our entrepreneurial startup activities as well as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. And please could you give a short overview or summary about your research?
Sure. So the research in my working group, and this includes also my PhD students and some students in general, is basically concerned or related to doing business in developing countries. So we do have kind of a focus on Africa, or on sub-Saharan Africa for the last couple of years. But what we try to figure out basically is which kind of arrangements and environments, circumstances can help to make it a beneficial activity for foreign investors and for the local economy, local businesses and people alike. It's more or less the centerpiece of what we look at.
And what do you enjoy most about your research?
There are so many things that I do enjoy about research. It's pretty much learning new things and expanding what we do know, and it's realizing that there is also in data. I'm mostly a quantitative researcher. That in data there is the real world that you can discover up to a level that you might not even be able to observe. So it's the passion of finding answers to questions.
And how about your research specifically, what you're working on right now?
Right now we are just starting a new project, which is the working title currently is The Effects of Crisis, and that's mostly Corona and now unfortunately also the war in Ukraine on the business environment and the way business is done in sub-Saharan Africa, where we try also to implement the perspective on employment, on gender distribution and employment, and how all this, what happens currently now in Europe and globally, affects the people kind of on the ground doing their businesses there in the region of sub-Saharan Africa.
What are typical tasks as an undergraduate student can do when joining your research?
But there are actually a couple of things that worked very well in the past. Maybe the most, let's say, traditional area or aspect where undergrad students can easily slot in and support and become a member of the research team, of course, is in data collection. And so especially if we conduct either interviews or collect data via the phone or via calls like this one, so with Teams or Zoom. Another thing that I've done in the past, at least twice by now, I would say very successfully, was to include our undergrad students as co-authors. So we had 2 research projects where 2 different undergrad students joined in as researchers. And both ended up with a final paper, so a publication that we submitted to what happens to be the largest international business conference that we have annually, including, and of course, joining me in going to the conference. The first one was in Copenhagen. The other one now this year is in Miami. So rather fancy locations, I would say. And attend the conference also to get into this, the mood and the world of academic research based on what I would say earned credentials by becoming a co-author of a topic. Finally, maybe the last option that is there is, if you do have a topic on your own that you think that sounds like an interesting and relevant topic that can be addressed with scientific methodology, of course you can also approach me and then we can see if I can become your co-author in this regard. So with the student in lead, and then with me kind of down the back seat, supporting the project.
And how would you prefer to be contacted to join your research group?
That's a good question. Of course, the easiest way is to drop me an email. When we are back to full in person again, which I believe will happen very soon. Of course, you can also just kind of drop it to my office if I'm there. You might see if my car is in front of Research 4, and if it is there, just draw in. or we can just kind of arrange for a cup of coffee in the coffee bar. So given that research is something that is best discussed with a cup of coffee, at least that's my experience. So just keep it informal. Whatever works best, just get in touch. That's the most important part.
And are there any specific requirements students should have to join your research?
Well, curiosity, but that's true for all research, I would say. You should have a rather sound understanding of either economics or international business, international management, of course. And still the most important thing is having an interest in getting into this process of research, which is sometimes boring, sometimes very formalized, but in the end, usually a very exciting exercise. So again, curiosity is, I guess, still the most important skill that you should bring along.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for your time.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much for having me again.